Hey, what's up guys, I'm Horn and welcome back to Europa Universalis 5 as we're playing as England. So we're continuing the 100 Years War against France. This is technically it's our fourth conflict, but I'm not going to count that one that we did against the coalition. So really it's the third war in this very large conflict. So let's go and get it started. We're going to go and move our troops to wipe out the 9,000 over here. And you know what? We should probably bring both our armies. Since that's the largest army in the area, let's get these guys destroyed with taking as few casualties as possible. You see the Normans are coming down here to defend our territory. I should show you guys. It looks like we just had a battle over here against Flanders, destroying their ships, and it did result in this guy getting the privateer durability increased from the Buccaneer trade. I hate how many of our admirals have that when it's not exactly the most useful trait for us to have. So we're currently blockading Flanders. Took a little bit of damage in that battle, but not too much. And we want to make sure that the enemy fleets aren't able to attack us. Now we could always set them up. I haven't really shown AI objectives, but you can set them up to do different things. So you don't have to control them. So for instance, you can have them blockade ports. You can have them hunt enemy navies. Or they can perform naval logistics, so distribute food to coastal armies. Those are all things you can have them do, and you can also give assignments to your regular armies. Another thing I haven't shown because we haven't really used it. I prefer to just control my troops myself, but a lot of different options when it comes to your armies. So I just wanted to show you guys all of these. In case you don't have the game and can't check it out yourself. Again, I prefer to control my own armies, so I don't put the AI in control of them. But another thing I should show you guys, I had a lot of people asking about it in these past wars, is what we have our subjects set to when it comes to their military stance. So here in the British Isles, we've tried a few different stances. You know, we've had them set to defensive and they didn't defend our territory. We've had them set to supportive, trying to get them to join our armies. Very few of them did. So I'm going to try something different and have them on aggressive. We could also go to normal just to see if they'll do anything. I think the main reason why they don't attack is because they don't have the fleets to transport their troops. They just don't have enough ships to do that. So I don't expect them to come over here and attack due to the lack of the ships, but I want them to defend my territory at the very least. And they should do that on defensive, but they're not. Normandy is on defensive. We want them to protect all of our territory over here, and they seem to do that adequately. That's why I don't think that defensive is broken, which a few people suggested maybe that was the case, but clearly it works with Normandy. And then all of our vassals on the continents that are smaller, including Aquitaine, I guess they're not smaller, but we have them set to supportive. So particularly with these two counties, we want them to help us out, help our armies out, send them over to us, and attach to them, which in order for that to work, we do have to set them to allow attachments. So let's go ahead and make sure that they're able to attach to these armies. And you can see that Brittany is running now. Okay, so we didn't need all these troops over here, which I'm trying to select the other army, the Royal Army, get them going somewhere else. I suppose we can engage these troops down here. Well, there's 5,000 right there. Don't want to fight in this location though. That's a forest with a river. Okay, so it seems Brittany's coming back up here. Alright, well, we're going to need the Royal Army for this. I know that they're comparable in numbers. But yeah, we definitely want to have the support of the larger army just to take as few casualties as possible. So they'll be trapped now. They're not going to be able to get out of there. In fact, what we want to do is have them attack us in the wetlands if they try and leave. Yeah, they're going to attack up here, go after that fortified location. So our 30,000 troops here should be able to kill a bunch of them with hopefully taking as few casualties as possible. So we'll get this started, and again, this should be an easy battle here. And so we only lost 365 while killing 2,500. And this is the kind of stuff we're going to have to do, because again, we're in a war now that Castile's joined. We're in a war where we're outnumbered. Quite significantly, actually. Now, we don't know how involved Castile will be or how long they'll even be in the war. Had another naval battle against Flanders. So they tried to leave the port, I think. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over here now. See if we can't engage that fleet there. Alright, so these guys are going over this way, and looks like we'll be able to engage those 1600 and completely wipe them out. And you know what? Let's also attack over here, though. Wait a minute. There is a large army over here. Alright, so we wiped out those 1600. So the French main army, that's got to be the majority of their army there. Let me just take a look. I want to see how many troops they have. Yeah, 19,000. That's the entire French army. Castile has 29,000, so you get them out of the war. And things are much, much easier. We're engaging that Flanders fleet there. So if we can fight the main French force here, this is probably not the location we want to do it, because you're going to get the penalty. We prefer that they have the train penalty if possible. Alright, so another naval battle won. Excellent. Let me just take a look. Yeah, we did take a lot of damage here with some of these ships. So let's go and repair. Alright, so we got them, guys. We'll be able to fight them here. This terrain doesn't have any penalties, and they can't leave. So this will be a big battle with the entire French army, as well as our entire army. So it's a big battle here. We just took a look at the numbers. Unfortunately, Edmund is leading, so our discipline is not going to be as high as it would be. So that's my mistake that we didn't have our king in charge, though his military ability isn't significantly higher. So I don't know, maybe I selected Edmund regardless of who got there first, simply because overall he's better. But yeah, the discipline's not as high as France's, so that's unfortunate. However, we do have much higher military tactics, and a big part of that is because of the gunpowder tech that we have, which clearly they do not have that. So we're going to take a lot less damage. Also, we have higher morale than they do. So I think this should go fairly well for us. Well, the battle was already over. That didn't last very long at all. So we only killed 711 of them. I think they manually retreated or something because they still have morale. So our armies are now split up. The Royal Army is over here. I was sieging this location or occupying it, but instead we're going to engage against that 10,000, almost 11,000. While the cousin army is moving over here to engage against the Flanders army. Got to split these up. Just too many troops around, and we did defeat the main enemy army. Now this one's pretty large too. But that French army of 19,000 was the only one that was a real concern. So this is Anjou's army. We've already defeated them, and that's 4,000 dead. And it looks like there's going to be another battle here as well. And it seems like it. So we just wiped out 939, and something else is happening there too. And seems like, yeah, we just got 1,900 wiped out. Excellent. Seems like Flanders has moved over to here. They already occupied that location. Okay, I see. So this is going to result in them getting the river bonus. Also, we have the lower morale because we marched over there and lost morale while doing that. Normandy is taking our territory back. Excellent. And we want to continue to wipe out enemy troops. Where are these guys going? They're going over to here. Before we try and do any sieges or anything, I want to focus on destroying the enemy armies. So that's 421 lost on our side, 2,000 lost on theirs. So doing great thus far. Also, because we won more battles, we'll start getting the attacker bonus, so the ticking war score there. We already killed 22,000, only lost a little under 5,000 of our own. So now we're 78,000 against about 53,000. So a pretty good situation overall. Let's see how healed up these guys are. It's still a lot of damage to some of those ships, including some of our main ships. You know, we have a cog there that's taking a lot of damage. So we could go ahead and reoccupy these since we don't want to do a fort just yet. And I don't see any enemy troops around here. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take these back. Just 98 dudes there. And yeah, we're not going to do a fort yet. Another 2,400 dead there. Excellent. And I suppose we can try and force out these countries, these subject countries. So we're going to start with them. We actually want to seize control of that in the peace treaty, a separate peace treaty. So just try and wipe out some of these subject states, because unlike the coalition war, we can make peace, separate peace, with France's subjects. And just killed 118 and 1,300 there. Alright, fantastic. So getting some good victories. For some reason they're attacking us over here, so got another 57 dead there. Now we can't do the separate peace treaty with them because they're not disloyal. So we can only do that if they're disloyal, which in the case of all their other subjects, that has been, you know, that's been why we've been able to do the treaties. Because France has been having loyalty issues. There's Castile's army. Okay, so they actually outnumber us here. So we're going to want to make sure that we have the terrain bonus. We need to get this army moving back over here. I was hoping that we could avoid fighting Castile's 30,000, but clearly that is not the case. So that's a real shame. So we're going to have to get them in between our two armies. We'll occupy this territory first, see if we can't do the peace treaty with Anjou. I don't know if they're loyal or not. I figured we'd test it out. And let's see where we might want to move. Okay, so this is the only place we'd get a defensive bonus. So we're going to move there for now while we wait for the other army, which looks like they're going to be engaged. Yeah, they got to fight the 4,000 here. So fight those guys. And with that victory, another win against Anjou, we'll begin moving the cousin army. And I'm wondering if we can't get Normandy to assist us in that battle. We'll have to see. So lots of battles happening over here right now. Killed 565 there, 3,000 dead there. That's a huge loss for Anjou. So where are they moving to? Looks like they're moving over to here. So we're going to try and get them engaged. They might try and attack those troops right there. That's what I think they're doing. So we're going to try and have this battle here. Let me see when each of the two armies get there. So they'll arrive on 11th October at 12 p.m. Well, they're going to arrive at 1600. So let's pull them back and wait a couple hours and then have them do their attack. Yeah, 1800, so 6 p.m. So that's pretty good. We should be able to get this battle started here. And it still does result in Edmund being leader, just probably because he has the higher stats. But luckily, their commander isn't all that great either. His ability is only 64, his military ability. And their discipline is actually lower in addition to the lower military tactics. Morale is comparable though. So yeah, we should be able to get a solid victory here. We do outnumber them. All our stats are in our favor. Nobody has the terrain penalties. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a nice victory for us. Yeah, you can see we're already tearing up their lines. Yeah, this is very much going in our favor. Yeah, already defeated that flank. This one too. Now we can focus on the center. And you can see that we've lost 1,500 about, while they lost over 5,000. So this is a significant victory for us. Defeating Castile, and might encourage them, because they're doing a siege right now and I really want to get them out of the treaty, or out of the war I mean. It might encourage them, it'd be quicker to do this through here, to make peace. Now they're still not willing to do white peace. In fact, they're further away than the last time I looked at this. Alright, so that's a shame. Maybe because they feel good about this siege. And I mean, just Aquitaine's in trouble, period. Look at the situation over here. It is not looking good. Yeah, you got 18,000 French troops there. There's 12,000 of their vassals' troops, and then 12,000 Castile. Yeah, we're definitely losing on that front. We might have to look into hiring some mercenaries, which we're going to want to raise up a lot more money to do that. Mercenaries are kind of expensive. So the Royal Army just finished up the occupation of Le Mans, which means that all this territory here is going to flip over to us. I'm also going to see if I can't engage these guys in a battle somewhere. Yeah, it looks like they'll be able to get away. Maybe not. Alright, so we'll get those troops engaged, killing 1,200 of them. Alright, excellent. So that's what we want to see happen. And then I guess we'll attack this location as well. So we're going to occupy this, and then I suppose we'll want to engage them, but we need the assistance of our other army. But first, let's take this over while we're over here. Oops, my bad. We need to go to that location, the province capital. So we're going to get that done. And unfortunately, Normandy just got engaged by that large army. Okay, so France is actually going to attack us over here. So that's a little surprising. Nobody gets a train bonus. And we're very similar numbers. But, you know, that's better than what's happened to them in the past where, you know, we have outnumbered them. So I suppose this is probably good for them. But they're going to lose this battle. I feel confident that we'll win it. But our casualty is going to be much higher than the past battles. We're going to take far more casualties than we would. So honestly, not how we wanted that to go down. So even when we win the battle, we took 2,600 casualties. Well, they took 4,500. Again, still not terrible there, but When you're this outnumbered, you really can't have victories like that. We're going to retreat to our own territory. We got these victories here. Try and let, well, these aren't going to flip because they're doing that siege there. Let me just see if they're even willing to do a separate peace treaty. Well, it hasn't even been a year yet, so nobody can leave anyways. And yeah, it doesn't matter because apparently they're loyal because they will, it still states that they're a subject, so we can't force them out. Alright, so that's unfortunate. So we're going to come over here to our own territory in order to reinforce and to wait for this army to arrive so that we can do some attacks against these large armies where we outnumber them. Because right now, yeah, they have a similar number to us. So let's get the 9,000 or 8,600 over here. Yeah, they're now engaging against Normandy. We're going to have to go assist them. And it looks like they're able to get that victory. So this is going to be the site of the battle. There are 14,000 troops moving over here. I think our 9,000 might get there at the same time. Yeah, so 25,000 against 14,000. And they have a very good commander this time. 99 military ability. So that results in our discipline being comparable, since remember Castile has the lower discipline anyways. So we will achieve a victory here, and hopefully not lose too many troops. 589, killing 3,000 of theirs. So thus far it's going pretty well. We've killed 48, almost 49,000, while only losing just under 15,000. And so the numbers are getting more comparable. I wanted to also take a look at our fleet. See if we got these guys repaired just yet. Yeah, they're good enough. So let's get the fleet moving back out. See if we can engage some of these enemy navies. And looks like our army, Normandy's army I should say, is getting another victory there. So Brittany is over here, so you know what? We're going to have to bring both armies together to engage them. Because that's another 14,000 man army. But we got to get these victories. Another naval victory against Flanders. Excellent. We'll go over to here. Let me take a look and see if any of these ships got heavily damaged. A little bit. We'll want to put them back into port to repair for the month. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll put them in Dover so they're not as far away from the enemy fleets. Now, they will be able to reoccupy this before we get over there. But can we get them engaged before they leave? No. So let me try going over here. And then attacking them at this location. Yeah, we'll attack them right here. And so that should allow us to wipe out some more of their troops. Unfortunately, we don't have good morale here because we did that march over here and didn't take a break. And so that obviously didn't go as well as it could have because of our low morale. We only lost 1,700. They lost 6,600. We're going to take our smaller army, bring them over here, though. Honestly, the Royal Army isn't anywhere near as large as it used to be. We're also fighting in winter here. Yeah, another 14,000 there. Let's bring these guys over this way. We'll reoccupy this territory here. And then hopefully they'll like attack a fort. Okay, they're going to fight the Normans there. So the Normans will get the bonus, but it didn't matter because they're so vastly outnumbered. They retreated quickly, so they didn't lose as many troops as they would have. Alright, so we finish up that siege. Let's see if we can't engage this 1,500 army down here to get that wiped out, because that should be a very easy one where you just completely wipe them. And our burghers are complaining. We're getting tons of events like this. You know, everybody just seems to be unhappy for some reason. I don't know if it's the war or what the problem could possibly be. So let's go and move our troops over to here. One thing we can do when it comes to improving our troop count here is, you know, staying in our own territory, replacing these losses that we took to our main army using our manpower that we have available. So that would help increase the numbers to a degree. Looks like Normandy just got engaged again. Alright, that's unfortunate. Because yeah, as you can see, as soon as we go into our own territory, the manpower starts being reduced. But all these victories that France is getting against Normandy is weakening that army of theirs. So maybe we can get them engaged in a favorable situation. And I did just build this cog, so let's go and bring them over here. Just making them a little bit more powerful here. And let's put them back out. And let's go and attack these guys. I don't know if we can get there before they finish the occupation. Looks like we did not. Alright, so we're attacking them over here. That's another army, or another battle, I should say, where we outnumber the enemy and should hopefully get some good kill-death ratio. But we'll have to retake this location, unfortunately. But yeah, we killed 3,100, losing 793 of our own. And with how large these armies marching around are, I feel like we've got to merge these two armies. So we'll merge the strongest unit. So that means the Royal Army will be the entire army here. And then we're going to consolidate the regiments. Because yeah, we've taken a lot of losses since the beginning of the conflict. We already lost about a third of our army now, given they've lost half of it. We've killed 60,000. Wow. So I don't think they had that originally. I think they had 90-something. So clearly they've raised up additional troops. Castile still has 19. France has 10,000. So our army should outnumber anything that we run into. But yeah, we're going to have to keep them all together like this. And this French army has returned to this location. I never did take it back. I don't know why they went back there. Maybe they just retreated over there. They started to leave. Or they did leave, and I guess they came back. So yeah, we can go and get some more of these wiped out. So that's 2,600 more destroyed. And I guess we should retake this location. Well, that's interesting. They're just not retreating very far. Yeah, they must have retreated this way, and I expected that they'd go further, but they didn't. They just maybe stopped there and then came back over here. And so yeah, we can get another victory, wipe out some more troops, and just keep on attacking them until eventually, yeah, we completely wipe them out. So that's the end of the French army. However, I assume they're just gonna like raise up more troops or whatever. Yeah, we'll go and do this siege here. Got another 1,300 troops here, but it looks like the Normans are gonna take care of that for us. A lot of armies bouncing around down here now. We got an event about the invention of tennis. Basically, we can choose between a cultural influence or cultural tradition. Cultural influence is like the offensive power of culture, while cultural tradition is the defensive. And the culture wars, which, no, not those culture wars, not modern culture wars, but the culture wars of the game. Alright, so we're going to engage these 3,700, get those wiped out. I am not going to fight that army. I think we're just going to let them do that siege. Maybe they'll take some casualties. But yeah, we're just going to engage these smaller armies, get these wiped out for now. We got to start really being careful with our troop numbers now. Because, you know, we lost a lot of men. So we're about to engage the French army again. One thing we should do, now that Normandy has taken so many losses, is probably set them to supportive now. So they'll join up with this army here. Another 4,000 with this army would be helpful, while 4,000 marching around, you know, basically losing battle after battle isn't all that helpful at all. But what I really like is for them to join up with this one, and then I'd feel more confident attacking that army, which has gotten smaller now. It's not quite as large as it was. Alright, so we saved up a decent little chunk of money. I want to show you guys just how expensive these mercenaries are, and the reason why we haven't been hiring them thus far. We can't hire any of the existing options here, but we can go ahead and just set up our own army by hiring a mercenary leader, and then they'll assemble this army for us. And unfortunately, you can't sort it by total ability. You can only do it by the admin, diplomatic, military ability, or by the cost of them, or by how many units they can hire. So if we looked at the captain here at the top, who clearly has the best skills, you know, his military ability is 99, as high as it gets here for our mercenary leaders, but just also comparing him to his competitors, he does seem to have the highest overall skills as well. But the problem with him, besides his extremely high cost, you know, the cost I think is based off of how good their skills are. So the better the mercenary leader, the higher the default cost will be. Or I said default cost, I meant base cost. Because you also have to pay for all the troops. This is just to hire the leader. And so you'll see with his 4 units, the total cost would be 493. And that's really the problem here with this particular mercenary captain, is he can only hire 2 cav units and 2 infantry. That's it. So you're spending 500 and only getting the 4 units. Frankly, it's just not good enough. And again, what you're mainly paying for is his really good military skill. Now we can also sort it by the total number of subunits they can hire. So if we got the top commander here, he can hire 94 total units. However, that doesn't mean he can actually hire 94 units, because They also have a total limit. So in this case, it's 12. And I believe that that's based off of their administrative skill. So at 46, you can see he can get 12 units total. What this is telling us, this 94, is that there's 94 types of units that he can hire. So 30 footmen, 30 archers, 17 horsemen, or 17 armored horsemen. So essentially it's just telling you like how much variety you're going to have. And also, if you're going to be limited, if they only have like 4 units available, then obviously you're not going to be able to hire more than that. What you really need to be paying attention to is the admin skills. So if we looked at Captain Siegfried here, he has a total of 86 units that he could hire. But look at that really low admin ability. He can actually only get 4. So you have a lot of choices, a lot of variety since he has it available, but you can only hire 4 of them. So you do need a character with a good admin skill. You can also sort this by cost, how much you're gonna have to pay to hire that character. So this character's the cheapest because he's kind of garbage. But let's go ahead and sort this by military ability since that's really one of the more important factors for a leader. And this is who's going to be in charge of that army. And you could put somebody else in charge of it, I suppose. But we don't really have good commanders. So it makes sense to hire somebody who's pretty good to have that higher discipline. So the 2 options I'm seeing, you have Captain Mark, and then you also have this Meinhard. So Captain Mark has the higher military and the higher diplo skill, but his admin ability is a bit lower. So he's not going to be able to hire as many units. He can get 10, while Meinhard can hire up to 22. We wouldn't even be able to afford that many. But yeah, clearly this gives us the most options. We have the variety because he has a lot of units available. He's got the good military skill, even if his diplo skill is a little low, but morale's not that big of an issue for us. But each of these different type of units have their own costs. So like the artillery is very expensive. It costs 100. While like with the footmen, you can see that cost doesn't go up nearly as much. It's a shame he doesn't have any of the men-at-arms available. The footmen just have the 100 men. The archers, we're not going to get any of those. We'll get some armored horsemen as well. Like 4 of those. We should be able to get 12 units because we will want to get some artillery since we can't even get our own artillery just yet. Now let's go and do 1 more footman, so that gets us up to 12. That's all we're going to be able to hire. That's all of our money. And this is how much they're gonna cost us every month. It's not the monthly cost that's a problem. We could easily afford that. It's the hiring cost. That's the issue. We're just going to do a contract length of 24 months. And then we're going to want them to raise up over here. And so that's going to get us a mercenary army. It's going to take them 21 days to raise up. Also raising up some additional troops that we were able to do. I think it was like 1,000 men. So we can bring that to assist the Royal Army. Since we're facing huge armies here. That's 20,000, the same size as our units. And I was hoping to engage this guy, but it looks like he's going to get away from us. Yeah, the French have a large army stomping around as well. I don't know where they went, though. And then, of course, all the armies that are down here that we are just kind of leaving to their own devices right now. So we got those 900-something levies raised up. Sent the fleet to go pick them up. And we also got our mercenaries, which are just 900 men. So we paid 1,000 gold for a military commander and 900 men, guys. That's what we paid for. So again, it's extremely expensive. You gotta have a stupid amount of money. Again, the maintenance cost isn't the problem. It's the hiring cost. That's the issue. But yeah, they can't even support themselves. I know that they're regular army units, but yeah, they would still... They're not good enough to defeat thousands and thousands of levies. So all we can really do here is merge these. So even with all those mercenaries and the new levies we pulled in, we're only sitting at 22,195. We're going to siege this location just to force the Flanders fleet out, just to destroy those. Because I want to. And so we already got our ships out here. And hopefully we'll get a few of their ships destroyed. So we got an event here about the University of St. Omer. Or not St. Omer, but St. Omer. So this option will start the construction of a university in that location right there. The clergy will be unhappy, but we only get the student protests, which has increased unrest by 20%. We only get it for 1 year in Cambridge. Well, this option results in you getting that penalty for 10 years, but you do please the clergy. I think this is clearly the better option. We do want more universities, and we can't construct these, so you get a lot of good stuff from it. So I think we should get that. So that'll start up that construction. So with that taken, that'll force their fleet out. We'll battle them, and let's bring our army back over here to engage against that French army. Did we not even destroy any? I don't even think we did. Well, we just took a bunch of damage. Alright, well, we're still blockading them. We should probably go into port and let them repair before the end of the month. So we're going to attempt to attack the 15,000 man French army. What's interesting is that they finished this siege here. Well, there's only 10 dudes there, so you could just assault it, but not if the Normans decide to stand there. So let's go and attack the French over here. Not able to finish this occupation, hopefully. Okay, excellent. We're there like 1 day before they would have succeeded. So yeah, we're engaging this French army. Should get another victory there. Closer in numbers than we would have liked, but that's the case no matter what we do. We got 2,000 casualties while they took 4,700. So we're down to 20,000. And this army has kind of split up, so let's see if we can't engage them separately before we go and try and take back our fortification. So yeah, we'll be able to wipe out those 2,000 troops, hopefully. Yeah, 2,300 dead, excellent. And so now we're going to try and attack the 14,000 here. We might want to let our morale recover before we attack them. Are they going to attack the Normans? I'm not entirely sure what they're planning on doing there. Yeah, let's go and fight them. I think they retreated to defend here. It's not one where they'll get any defensive bonuses. So yeah, we can go and attack them there. Would be even better, yeah, as if they attack the Normans here. Although I don't know if we'll arrive in time to really assist them, but at least they'll be weaker. Oh, we did get there in time. All right, excellent. So we're helping the Normans out here. That resulted in our side taking 1,500 casualties. They took 5,500, but remember, many of those losses might have been from Normandy themselves. Let's go back over to this fort and go ahead and just assault it. I don't know that we've done much assaulting, because you really don't want to do it if there's nobody there. That's basically the only time where it's worth it. So let's go and order assault, so we can get the victory there and take the fort back under control, and then they'll build the garrison back up. And then let's go march. Let's see. I guess we can retake this location here. We haven't been going after any forts, guys. We're getting the ticking war score. We already have the 50% from the battles. We got 5.5% because we've achieved the war goal. Well, honestly, we can only do so much if we don't do more occupations, which you gotta do sieges. That's really what it comes down to. But maybe we can burn them out when it comes to the enthusiasm, so they'll agree to a peace treaty regardless of what our score is. Now you can see that Castile's has already, they've dropped. They have not had as much success over here as you'd expect, because they just keep leaving the sieges before they finish them. Like, they were almost done on this one, then they left. Yeah, here I think they had a very close to being successful there, and then they abandoned it. So it's really just the AI still kind of flawed. But yeah, we'll retake these locations. They've had this under their control for a while. So that'll get us some war score as well, or get us back some war score so we're not losing it from there. But really, we just need to keep destroying their armies. So we're going to take this, and then we'll engage that 12,000 man army before it gets any bigger. Looks like they're coming over here. I'm going to finish this before we attack them there. I don't think they get any defensive bonuses here, though it looks like they're now leaving. So I'll have to chase them down. We wouldn't want to fight them in the forest there, but we'll be killing those 400 dudes. Looks like we also captured some footmen. Let's go ahead and ransom them. Reduces the antagonism. And, get you a little bit of money, and we can just destroy them at a later time. So we don't want to fight the 12,000, so let's let them leave. They'll be gone on the 26th of July at 10. When do we get there? Oh yeah, definitely good, because we're just trying to engage the 811, which I guess they didn't get locked into it. But yeah, I don't want to fight them anywhere where they're going to get defensive bonuses. We need to take as few casualties as possible, and the French have come up behind us here as we've been trying to chase these guys down. We'll get to engage the 800, so I guess there's that. But we got to bounce over this way again to try and engage those French troops before they wipe out the Normans and take back all this territory here. And it's the French we're really trying to exhaust anyway, not their subjects. So we want to destroy that army of 11,000. And we also don't want them to take this location from us. So let's see if we can get there in time. Looks like we're going to be just short. Alright, we can't always make it at the last minute. Let me go and close this here so the battle will finish quickly. 715, 3,600, not bad at all. We'll retake that location. Looking at the current casualty situation, we've killed 70, almost 79,000, losing 28,000 of our own, though many of those are actually the Normans. I think Normandy lost 9,000, Aquitaine lost a bunch as well. I don't remember how many they had. I think they lost like 6,000 to 7,000 or so. So we're now in March 1383. I want to show you guys the current situation. This army is just sitting here. They've occupied this location and not doing anything. The 269 have come over here to occupy that, and this 1600 are attempting to do the siege. I've got our own army doing a siege with some of our vassals, just 325 guys that have attached that, just because I've destroyed all the armies in the region besides that one. And I've decided to let them sit there. If they're just going to stand there and not do anything, then that's actually where we want them. I prefer that they stay there. They've been there for like months and months and months not doing anything. So therefore, we're going to let them sit there. And we don't really have that much more men than they do, about 5,000. So yeah, we're doing the siege here because eventually we're going to have to siege something down in order to get more war score. Looking at Aquitaine, Castile's 15,000 men are currently sieging Cognac. They made some progress there. They've abandoned this siege, of course. They've taken this territory over. They're sieging this. They just started that. But it looks like Normandy has marched all the way down here to attack this army of Castile and maybe get them wiped out. They should get a victory there. And also, we've seen Wales for the first time come to assist. They've for the most part they've been staying here, but they must have hired a fleet because they're called pirates. So I assume they hired that fleet in order to finally transport some troops. So we're getting some assistance now just because they have a fleet. That's the thing that's been limiting them in the past. And Castile did lose there. And they're abandoning the siege because of course they are. Also, we can now construct artillery units, though we don't have any manpower to do that, unfortunately. I did start the construction of some additional armories. We're also getting a bridge in Oxford since we have that road there. Yeah, we won't be able to get the artillery, but we do have artillery. We have the ones that we got from the mercenaries. But it appears we're not getting the artillery impact, probably because they're really, really weak. We actually should put these down here so they're less likely to engage in battle, because yeah, you can see that they are down to 0 men. So that's a reason why we're not getting any bonus from them. And they won't be able to restore their losses while we're in that territory either. I should have done that initially. Now, still might have taken some damage. But yeah, before we end today's episode, because unfortunately this is going to be a shorter one, I wanted to start up the construction of some additional roads. Remember, we're building up our road network here, and we didn't finish that. So we're going to build to Weymouth, and then from there to Exeter. So continue to build up our roads, show you guys what the current situation is when it comes to proximity. So it looks a little bit better. And then the control, a little bit more noticeable. Definitely starting to see that increase some in certain areas where we've been working on it. Also, you see the control is up here just a little bit. Still no control down here, but the situation is better than it was. So we're continuing to improve it. It's a lot of work, and you don't have many tools available at this point in the game. One thing we should also try and do is see if Castile would be willing to do a separate peace treaty. Because all we want from them is white peace, and they are very close. -13. Last time we looked, I think they're -70 something. And we're definitely seeing some progress there. We're going to arrange a marriage for this character with Anne Percy. You know what? We're going to do Maud Percy because we'll keep Anne since she's younger for like one of somebody from our dynasty. So unfortunately, we do have to end the episode here. We're going to let this siege phase finish up. See what kind of progress she makes. Okay, so it's the supply shortage. We're broke now that we built all those roads. So far, the conflict is going well, considering. If you looked at the numbers, we've killed 83,000, losing 27,000 of our own. We have 34, almost 35,000 right now, while they have less than 50. So we're doing pretty good, guys. We've sunk 11 of their ships. Apparently, our side's lost 13, though. But look at these troop numbers. France only has 5,300. So once Castile leaves, that number goes down significantly. Plus, there's the subjects of Castile as well. They have quite a few troops that are currently involved in this conflict. So France is going to be in a lot of trouble if we can get Castile out of the conflict. And these are our current troop numbers. You know, we're at 18,000. Normandy has 4,800. Wales 3,100. But overall, I think that this is going to go a lot smoother if we can just force the Castilians out. But I hope you did enjoy today's episode, even if it was a little bit shorter. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on the next one. And thanks for watching.